the ocean. Okay, I'll call the meeting to order at 5:06 p.m. The Plainfield Housing Advisory Committee meeting of Wednesday, June 24th. Do we have an approval of a motion to approve the minutes from June 10th?
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
Any discussion?
Maybe I missed it because I got a lot of emails this week. Did the final minutes go out after there were the corrections?
I didn't
Yes.
see them.
They
The
did. Okay.
correction, the typo sort of things that I
Yes.
sent.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, I didn't know if we were supposed
Yeah.
to get like an update for.
I was
okay,
gonna
I
ask
didn't know.
somebody to send that to me again.
What I did is I didn't want to send out the corrected minutes just because it would make life more complicated. So there are changes to the minutes were the ones that Liz suggested that are just basically corrections. And
Yeah.
then Lydia had a correction on one sentence, and I'm gonna read that, or two sentences, and it was in the public comment section when Graham was talking about his apartments, and it was after I made the motion that Liz as co-chair could sign the letter. This is what I've added. Lydia asked Graham to consider other definitions of affordable because a large problem for a lot of employed people that they can't afford median rent price. She said, looking at median income would be a better measurement of affordability. And then the existing minute says Graham offered to put in market rate for the area.
Thank you. I just wanted that not for arguments or anything. I just think that's an important point. So that's all.
Definitely.
Thank you.
So those are the modifications that were suggested to the minutes, and I will send out that corrected copy. I just didn't want to send out too many more emails because we'd have to do this same thing at the meeting once again.
Yeah.
Okay, so all in favor of approving the minutes as amended? Okay. Minutes are approved. Are there any changes to the agenda?
One thing I thought I'd like to add would be, a response, maybe a response letter, would discuss a response letter from select board.
Yes, I think several of us thought that would be a good thing to do. So maybe we could put that down near the bottom after the update on mailing to town residents. Okay. Any other additions?
Just something I was thinking about today. We don't have to do it today, but we can, I think it would be worth talking about. There's that new housing bill, that giant new housing reform bill or something that they passed in the federal government. I don't know if anybody's been keeping track of that. But it made me think.
I'm laughing because Trump refused to sign it this afternoon.
I know, I saw that too. But, and this might be a Hazel, I think. But I don't know if it'd be worth talking about at a meeting, but just, I thought it would be interesting to just provide rundowns on these things at meetings. So then the public would just have that, so like anything related to housing, we can kind of like decode it or find some kind of like summary that's really appropriate and then just have it. And we just have a 5-minute thing, and then that would give an opportunity for people to see it on the agenda and then come out if they had any questions about it. Not that we have to be experts or anything, but we could always, if somebody had a question, we could go back and find more info and get back to them or something like that.
So I would make a suggestion that we have this empty board at the town clerk's office. You go up the stairs, it's all empty. So that would be a great resource spot for you guys.
You mean
Yeah,
posting, like a board for posting?
Oh, yeah.
Totally empty.
Ooh,
Okay.
that would be
So
such, yeah.
that could be a great resource.
Oh.
Thanks.
Any other changes or additions? The community agreements. Lydia, would you like to read our community agreements?
Yes, we have a little more packed house today. So we talked about in the beginning of this committee that we just wanted to have an understanding in our community that we are always going to be open-minded and respectful, let people finish speaking and having their thoughts heard. And if we do disagree, it's, you know, keeping in mind that we're disagreeing with ideas and not people. You know, because sometimes there are big emotions attached to some of these things. Thank you very much. And if there's any public comments, I always forget this, if anybody wants to talk about it, they can.
Okay, did Will go away? Oh, no, he's still there.
No.
Oh, no, it was Chris who went.
Will's there, but
I knew somebody had gone. Okay, moving on to public comment. Is there any public comment? Anyone online have any public comment they want
Is
to
this a
make?
good time to introduce our folks who are, or do we
They
have
are
that on
they're the
agenda?
next
That's next.
agenda.
Okay.
Okay, so our next agenda item is meeting with our potential new members, Janice Grill and Russ Green.
Hi.
Hi. Is Russ here? I don't know. Chris is back.
Very happy to be here. I read over all the minutes today and I was also at Liz's presentation at the select board meeting last night and I was really excited about all the things you're doing. And I have ideas about what I, might want to be involved in. But I love the general direction of what you're talking about in terms of initially trying to revitalize the village and renovate whatever houses can be renovated, helping people to, am I supposed to give a speech? I don't know. Carry on. I didn't plan it. Helping people to do accessory dwelling units, helping people to find ways to afford to renovate their homes and build other structures. And also, I remember you were talking very early on, and I'm curious about what progress has been made with that, about making a mapping of what plots there are in town that can be built on, things like that. So I'd love to help out if you can use me.
Thank you.
We have a very long, mission, you could say.
Yes, I.
You might have heard it already.
Uh-huh.
The first part is increase the availability of safe and affordable housing to support more diverse, vibrant, intergenerational, vital, and inclusive community, to restore and grow the tax base,
Mhm.
to maximize outside funding in order to minimize the cost of the town, to expand the water and wastewater base, with attention to rivers, and to be attentive to the quality of life in Plainfield while honoring historic nature, and to focus on smart growth. That's just the beginning.
Yeah, I helped with crafting that at an early,
Oh,
one of
good,
those
good,
Plainfield forward meetings.
Right.
good.
Yes. they were
And,
recorded in there.
it does at times feel, like, we're starting from way behind here. And, but anyway,
It is kind of save the world.
it is, yes.
In 30 points, 30 bullet points.
we'll talk about it later, but I wish I had last night said, this is a 10-year plan. This is a long-term aspiration, not something that in the
6 months,
it's 6 months, but it's not even really 6
It
months
wasn't even
because we
6
had
months.
organizational meetings, we had people come in and talk to us, so I think this is so I don't get scared by how,
Scary.
How overwhelming it is.
how thorough and, aspirational it is, because it's a long-term, hope.
Yeah.
So are you Russ?
I was gonna say, just a reminder,
Yeah.
Hardwick said,
Yes.
town politics move slow. So
Yeah.
just a reminder, it's not Plainfield.
Right. Right.
So good.
Even Francis Rose last night said, the town moves slowly,
It does.
in a different context, but she said.
Yeah, I think that makes
So is Russ here?
sense. Maybe we should introduce people, John. Is that okay? Is that right?
Alonso?
John,
What is?
you were in,
I live in Plainfield. I've been renting here for the last 5-6 years. And I was following the project on East, what is it?
Hill.
East Hill,
Hill,
yeah.
idea, and And I was very disappointed on the outcome, but, I'm just here, dropping in to try to be informed about what's happening in the town. I plan on being here for as long as it takes to do all the bullet points. So, yeah, thank you for the open door. I'm not sure if I can contribute anything, but I'm happy to listen.
Great, that's wonderful. Thank you for coming.
I think people does everyone know Chris, I'm getting that right, Christie Farnham and Tammy Farnham,
Yes.
the Farnham Hills.
One of them.
One of the Farnham Hills.
All right, so I guess we don't have Russ here then. Who is going to invite him?
Yeah, I spoke with Russ and he was really enthusiastic. He seems to have a lot of talents, but he didn't think he could make the 5 p.m. start time for a lot of the meetings because he's just working. So that was, I said, even if you can't be on the committee, there is a lot of work to do that you can contribute to. And he also said he'd really like to help with the accessibility committee. So I said, talk to Alicia. She's doing a great job with that. And she's got her hand up, so she might want to.
Yeah, hi folks. Since the subject of your mission and possible response to the select board has come up, I have to say I was disappointed by the tone of some of the comments. This is a volunteer group and it's a large mission and you are just getting started, and part of acting responsibly is information gathering, which is what I think you've been doing. And although it's not stated in the mission, and perhaps, in the charge that comes from the board, it seems to me that one piece that's implicit in thoughtful planning is really evaluating potential impacts of different types of housing decisions before we act. Once we do something, we're stuck with it for long term, perhaps for good, perhaps not. But I think that the deliberative nature of this committee, the process for this committee, is something that I always understood as one of its charges, but doesn't seem to have been articulated. And I think that's what you've been doing, is getting the information to think thoughtfully about impacts of certain options, as well as inventorying what possibilities exist. So that's it. Thanks. And yes, I will reach out to Russ.
Thank you, Alicia.
I was just wondering, would you be able to share, Russ's email with Hazel and I?
Yeah, that would be great.
On the list. And actually, I never thought about that. Everybody got our emails. People ask all the time. People are interested. Could we put you on the list? Just newsletter.
Yeah, I put him on the list and sent him the agenda, and he'll be on the mailing list of the group, even though he's not on the committee, as a lot of people are.
Okay, so he's on I can get his email then from some email that I have. I just don't have his email, so I wanted to put it on the specific outreach group.
Sure, I'll send that to you.
Okay, cool, thank you.
And Liz, I think our duty is to forward names, but the select board is the appointing body. We don't appoint, we just let them know. We've got these people that you can choose, or we have, I think we just have, the list, and they're the ones that really make that choosing. That's in the charter.
Committee members? Yeah, I think we can recommend.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, so next agenda item is an update on our activities at the farmers market. That's over to Hazel and Lydia.
Yeah, no, we had done one, I think it was right after. We didn't have the tent or anything. I went around and did my spiel, but somebody had said, maybe it was Tammy at one point, that's the same people at the farmers market. So, I think it's still a good starting point, and we are gonna switch the time to the end. Cause the Hazel was saying the meal comes or starts at 6, and then there's people who come sometimes just for that. So we'd be able, instead of doing 4 to 6, 5 to 7, so we changed that on the mailer postcard. And everything is almost all set to do the final invoice for all the items that we're doing. I just have to send it to the guy at the printing place, and he's used to this. I was like, we just have to get it, the invoice to BCRD by the 30th. So he's like, yeah, we're used to that this time of year, don't worry. So we have that in, I just have to email him the final stuff. Yeah, looking out there, like to see.
Design some stickers.
Oh, yeah, the stickers are really cool.
Stickers.
I don't think I can get them on this, but let me see if I can.
I did see your flyer at the town hall.
PHAC stickers, is that what they are?
Yeah, so, and we have like, I think the
Now they're
budget,
real.
I think the budget after our stipend is like $600 for like the banner and stickers and flyers and all that. So we're hoping to get a whole bunch of that so we can just have it for a while.
Yeah.
Let me see, I'll see if it.
Merch.
Oh, it might not show up.
It's, I guess people will never forget this.
Right.
We'll be on mugs for at least 20 years.
That's true.
No, they're really cool.
They don't want to be here.
Let's see.
So this, we just thought this was funny.
Oh, that's nice.
Hazel did this.
Nice.
So just, it'll draw people in, you know, it's just so funny, I mean, I love this one, and then there's this one. But we are gonna change it to say, I love housing in the middle.
Nice.
I love housing.
That was-
I love, like, I
housing.
heart housing or
I
something like that. And so it's like different, you know, kind of catchy things. So yeah, so there's this, we're just having like a T-line banner that says Plainfield Housing Advisory Committee. But yeah, stickers on the side. Oh, we put the email on there too if people couldn't see.
Yeah.
So it'll also be on everybody's water bottle to reach out to us.
So yeah, so we have a general email now. So anyone can use it, and then Hazel and Lydia review all of the emails that come into that one and send them on as needed. So I'll send you one. Yeah, so I saw that I was being the volunteer for the cooling center.
Oh, yeah.
And so I was sitting downstairs in the town office, and I was like, oh, there's Plainfield Housing on the wall. So that was nice.
Cool. Yeah, I think it has our personal emails because we haven't made the, you know, yeah, that was the Windsor Farmers Market, but good. But it's still up there. But yeah. So we will have, fun things, probably not the 1 and 2 days, we'll still be there. But in the next, probably 2 weeks, we'll have stickers and fun things.
Well, I think being approachable is important. And fun stickers help with that. Because
Show to their door, here to say, sir.
people not intimidated by committees, which they often are.
Yes.
Okay, so shall we move on to the big PowerPoint presentation?
Wow. So
of Third campus housing from Chris Gruen.
now, so there are two for consideration. I offered a programming update and the third campus. Do folks want to see both activity here on campus? And then
Maybe we should do the housing first.
Okay. And let me see if I can share.
You should be able to share any participant.
Let me see.
There you go.
Yeah,
It's
What's
on the
that? Hold on.
screen in the room.
are folks online seeing this?
I don't know.
I'm asking.
And I honestly don't know if it's being.
No.
recorded.
No.
No, I'm not seeing it. I'm seeing Will right now.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm trying to get rid of me.
If you make the Zoom thing bigger and you find it, there's a share button there at the bottom.
I don't think it'll give me this meeting control, will it? Oh, there we go. And
There you
then
go, yeah, there's a share.
share. Sharing is
Not
not turned
turned
on.
on.
I'm sending you a request.
Okay, multiple presenters can share. You should be able to share now.
I'm glad I'm not you, Chris.
Yeah. There you go. So you just have to take.
There you go.
Good. Okay, hold on now. Let's pull that back up. Where is the actual? No, it's not there. This is not it. That's my other PowerPoint. Sorry, guys.
Oh, no, that's
It
all right.
disappeared.
Can you email us the PowerPoint slides?
I can pull it up. I can pull it up. Just give me
Yeah,
one
I mean, just
second.
email it to us so we can have it to share. But you should be able to just open it up on your screen and it'll,
Someone should tell the
there-
joke.
yep.
Let's see.
Okay, what do you call a boomerang that won't come back?
A stick.
Yeah.
It's too fast. Needs to go a little longer than that. That was good. There we go. Okay, that actually worked. That worked. That was great. Good job. Very nice. Okay, so let me move this out of the way. And everyone can see this now?
Yes, thank
Some
you.
of this is gonna be redundant information, but we'll start at the beginning. The entirety of the Goddard campus is now in the neighborhood development area, the NDA. This is the campus outline that you're looking at here in red. This little red outline here is the Plainfield Inn. Those are the two pieces of property that Mike Davidson owns. There's a little bit of the campus property in Marshfield and a little bit in East Montpelier up in the corner. It's a very strange crossroads. This is the area where it's this little bump out up here by the Pratt Center Library, that Northwood area up top, right in this corner.
Wow.
Where?
Weird,
Weird is weird. Yeah.
that would be,
How many acres are in East Montpelier and how many are in Plainfield?
It's I don't even know if it's a full acre. It's a very small piece in East Montpelier, Marshfield. About 130 acres in Plainfield. And most of that property wraps around back out there on the other side of the ravine from this developed part of the campus. The developed part of the campus is about 30 acres. The part of the campus that has buildings on it currently is only 30 acres and the entire property is 131. So the majority of the land is out on the other side of the ravine. A lot of that 40 to 50 acres is flat and it's all high and dry outside of the floodplain. Where you're sitting now is considered the Greatwood Campus Historic Preserve. So funny telling this information to people who know this place better than I do. There are people in the room who went to school here in the 60s and 70s, so, or who grew up here at that time.
just point out, we're in the building on the left with the red dot on it.
We're literally the red dot.
Okay,
We could literally say, well, maybe actually we're
yeah.
there. Yeah, right there.
Yeah, less than whatever.
right, and this is the upper parking lot. This is the lower parking lot, and that extra land that we're talking about right now is all over here. And we'll move the screen and look at that next. This is the Village of Learning. I think there's 12 dorms over there that are now being called barracks because they were originally designed for the military. They are from the 60s, so they are considered historic, but they lack some character. I went to school in those buildings. I lived in there. I lived in Weinstein there. I lived in all those buildings. This is the design center in the corner, which is one of the 3 design buildings we have on campus. And they're all considered treasures of architecture. John Mallory and David Sellers put these up with students back in the day.
Does that also include the
Sculpture and painting.
the Elevate buildings? Those are all.
The Elevate buildings are here. They're 2 of the dorms, right? The
Yeah, okay.
entrance, actually here. No, this is Dewey. Here and here are the Elevate buildings. If we make it to the programming slides, we'll talk about lessees, but there are 5 lessees on campus. 4 of them are in these dorms in the Village of Learning. Mike is looking into retrofitting one of these dorms for more permanent housing, 4 units out of the 8 that are established in there now.
What are the dorms?
And we're looking at this dorm, Stokes in particular.
And should we hold questions or?
Yeah, if you can remember them, it'd be better.
Yeah, it's not important.
I mean, I know I forget my questions. But yes, that's the intention there. Originally, he was thinking that maybe trying to fit up the design center for some housing, but that's proving to be more challenging than what we told him. But he had big aspirations, and they're great ideas, but sussing that out. I will say that he is committed to saving the design buildings, which is it's amazing, and we've all wanted that, but we didn't know if it was possible, and we'll find out what that means, but he's gonna give it a real try. And then we know the Pratt Center Library on the other side of campus. I'm just mentioning now that the idea for that is housing. Well, senior housing in particular, maybe even thematic in the sense that it'll have recording studios and space for people to play. So he's thinking maybe musicians in particular.
Oh my God, that would be wonderful.
Wouldn't that be interesting? That's the thought now.
Was telling me that, just an idea that, what a wonderful place that would be for our local library, the town library.
Well, there are those of us who can't see it as anything else. As a library is what we know it as a library. It smells like a library. There's still books in it. But we need to make room for what's needed, and that's the vision right now, is that the library might transition into housing in some form or another. The Vermont College University Student Architecture Group, graduate group, came and did a practice run at designing those units. And we have our first set of designs for imagining that as housing. They did a really wonderful job. Okay, this is the idea for Campus 3. So Christy, jump in and help me if I leave anything out. David Hillay, our archivist, really helped us unearth this, but it was Christy who was working with David who kind of brought back the name Campus 3, because Pitkin, back originally, before he was finished with his tenure as founder and president here, had imagined a third campus out on the other side of the ravine, where I'm talking about these 100 acres, high and dry and flat. And he had some sites already developed right about here, near where this clearing is, right? 4 additional buildings, a gymnasium, and what was else? I don't remember if it was other than that. It was a gymnasium. Anyway, the idea had been documented. We have archival. I think, David, you saw those with us, right?
I saw some pictures, I had some drawings, yeah.
Really inspiring idea. And as all the generations of people who have lived here, gone to school here, taught here, have wandered out here and just said, well, in addition to this being beautiful, natural preserve, this shore is easily accessed and really nice, dry, flat space. What else could happen other than dreamy student wanderings, Which are worth it,
Point out what, at the top there of that.
So, okay,
Yeah,
so
what's that building right
this is the Pratt Center Libraries up here.
Okay.
This is the parking lot. These are the 2 design buildings. You
Yeah.
enter it. What you can't see, I'm wondering, right here. What you can't see is the entrance to this area is right here off of Route 214. And then you take a left and you're passing the design buildings right here, and you end up at the Pratt Center here. But what we're talking about with Campus 3 is if you follow the entrance road this way towards the Northwood the old Northwood campus buildings, where there's apartment buildings now, you see on the left a roped off entrance to a double track, really nice, flat, I call it a double track, 2 single track tire tracks that any car could drive this because it's so dry. Straight through here, all the way to this open meadow. If you can literally cross this meadow with a vehicle and continue almost to Clay Hill. It's been overgrown since, but that's it's a nice test of just imagining how ready this area could be. In particular, so here's the access road in this picture coming to the meadow here. All of this area in here is where the dev team here at the campus is imagining the potential for 60 new units, 40 freestanding or was it 40? One mixed housing unit, but otherwise small cottages anywhere from, 800 to 1,400 square feet. Manageable spaces, very efficient spaces,
That's a good size range.
manageable spaces, but not tiny houses. And Mike has even mentioned the idea of housing in this section also, which would be accessed by an entrance that's now overgrown, but it comes off of Route 2 here. And you can see the old access road over here. Comes up just behind the Kilpatrick building there. And that's not formalized at all. What's only really genuinely being discussed right now is the feasibility for the housing in here and those 60 units. What's that?
That's gonna be like phase 4.
Yeah, right, phase 4, exactly.
And these
Phase 4.
structures be added to campus 3 or return?
Return. That's what used to be out there. That's what was out there.
David's starter home.
Yeah.
Literally.
Yeah.
I think we can put a senior.
Is it yours?
No stairs.
So it's probably more like somewhere in here.
Somewhere in there.
Yeah.
So, because you guys were still using, obviously, the Northwood campus.
Yeah, and there was a parking lot. That double track was kind of came off the parking lot. Yeah.
MSK is currently doing a feasibility study looking at the wetlands in here to see just which plots would avoid wetlands easily. But there's a lot of land to consider. What does MSK?
It's an engineer.
It's an engineer
Okay.
firm, but I'm trying to remember, we don't know the names there.
I think that was their actual name.
Oh,
Okay.
MSK engineer. So they're surveying it.
Yes, they're surveying now, yeah. So it's still in its infancy, but that's the current thinking. And John Broderick is working on that with us. And did you want to ask any questions about this before I give a brief update on the inn?
I'd like to ask a question, Celicia. Being very familiar with all these trails and having walked the Northwood Greatwood Trail more times than I can remember, this is tremendously exciting. I'm just curious, a lot of this area you've outlined used to be known as the Christmas Tree Farm. And I think what happened is it wasn't maintained and it wasn't thinned appropriately. So there'd be a lot of clear cutting, correct?
Well, I don't know enough to answer that knowledgeably, other than I know that Mike would do the minimal amount. He's always said nature does it best, can't do better than nature. I think he really wants to utilize the natural boundary that would be created with green, with trees, and he thinks that'll be a value for folks out there, that they'll have a natural barrier between the houses. So we say that, but also that, machines will have to get out there. So I don't know the full answer, but I know that that's of concern to this group. And you're exactly right that there was an overgrown Christmas tree project. When I was a student here, Chris Pratt led a forestry program where we tried to thin those trees out to bring light to the canopy, to the forest floor through the canopy. So a lot of those spruce trees are in bad shape. They, like you said, they weren't thinned out, and there needs to be some opening up in there anyway. So it's not like we're going to be cutting into a virgin tree stand or like a real old forest. But the further back you go in that Christmas tree stand, you start to peel down. It starts to roll down towards Cape Farm, becomes less desirable building area. So this idea that we would stay near the green space, shared green space center, this meadow, I know Mike would like to keep open. So that would be shared by the inhabitants around it as green space to have.
I want to be clear. I wasn't being critical.
No,
I think this can be done sympathetically, and I've gotten the sense that's Mike's intention. And as someone who loves God, or like it's family, probably more than family, because you don't choose your family. I feel that we've been incredibly fortunate, blessed, whatever you want to say, with the fact that Mike came into our lives when he did. I'm just trying to, understand. So what,
Yep.
do you know what the acreage of that green space, that meadow is?
No, but I could tell you that it's not much more than an acre right there. That's maybe an acre and a half of green space right here. If you look back, if you follow it, this is easily cleared. All of this is overgrown back here. The whole green space could be an acre and a half, 2 acres easily. And then you've got the tree, the Christmas tree stand that you're talking about wraps around through here and through here. Mostly Scotch, pine and spruce, not a lot of white pine, not a lot of red. But yeah, yep. The real magic stand is over in here, if you remember. There are some ancient white pine trees over there, yeah, and trails. So
Chris, I just sent you the paraphernalia.
yes,
The collateral from back in the day.
is that what that is?
Yeah, and it has circles, and Campus 3 is called out, and it's sort of like triangular shaped around the Pat Center, and it says a place where the student can have it out with himself.
Nice. I was gonna try and pull up Christie's text to me. I don't know if we can pass this around, but basically this is the diagram that Christie's talking about. Yeah, I mean, it's a really inspiring, easy space for imagining housing. It's it feels like that out there. It always has. Even when as a young person I could see, oh, it'd be easily nice to live out here.
Yeah.
Would also be natural for seniors
Yeah,
too, because there's so much, there's the health center,
yeah.
there's so much going on campus, so. You know, if somebody was, and the house sizes are perfect.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
if somebody's looking to move out of their large house somewhere and downsize and wanna be in kind of in a community.
Right.
And so in that spirit, and I'm sure Alicia would agree that, you know, I'd advocate for at least some proportion being accessible,
Mm-hmm.
you know. designed to be
Absolutely.
accessible. That seems like, why not?
Yeah.
And we've talked about this before, but is there some sense of openness towards ownership? Or is this like gonna, I mean, I'm assuming it's mostly rental, but.
No, I think that there is openness there. I don't know the design of that yet, but Mike's open to anything. And he's really easy to present ideas to.
Yeah,
He's-
because there's a lot of models where he could retain ownership of the land.
Yeah.
He could provide the services, so he
Yeah.
was still kind of integral to
Yeah.
the operation.
Yeah.
The other
And-
beautiful thing about Campus 3 is it's not in your face.
Right,
It's much like the campus as it exists right now, which is enveloped by the woods
Yeah.
and is not disturbing anybody's view, not making anybody angry because they're gonna be faced with something that they didn't expect to be there when they bought their house.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that there's a real interest in creating that there for that reason, that you can imagine being secluded and yet accessible to this. I mean, go ahead.
I have a couple questions. I understood, I guess misunderstood at the select board meeting was that just last night? That, no, I think, no. That, most of this land was in East Montpelier, but it's not in
No.
Plainfield.
Yeah, really none of the land we're talking about right now is in East.
That's
Montpelier.
fantastic,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
And so the second question is about the chip funding part. Is that,
Mhm.
you think that's gonna be necessary? Cause that will require a town vote?
I think that it's
Complicated.
compelling, you know, we haven't done any formal proposal yet for CHIP, but. You know, it would be applicable, I think, for this. And we have our infrastructure right here in the Village of Learning. It's not far from the site, so
great.
it doesn't have to travel far. Yeah, it's a good model for that. So,
One more, I'm sorry, one
Yeah.
more question. Do you have timeline,
I
general timeline?
have mine.
Okay.
I think that, I think 2027 has a lot of projects stacked on it already, but I think that Mike is talking about starting this up sometime in 2027. That's, Mike has a motto, speed of Mike. So, we'll see how that, plays out here, but that's the idea. And especially because Mike knows it's a need, you know, and everyone does, the folks that are coming to visit the campus. All the state agencies that are interested in what we're trying to do, they want to see this happen as soon as possible, so.
I'm just mentioning, no, I mentioned it before, that this is a rich natural area.
Yeah,
And even though it was formerly whatever, Christmas tree farm, it's now a
Center for
habitat
birds.
for a lot of birds and other species. So
no, that's worth
keeping that
mentioning.
in mind. Now, I don't know, you could probably consult with somebody better than me, like maybe people at North Branch Nature Center or whatever, or, you know, there are people in town who are naturalists and better able, but, you know, having
Yes,
a complete
exactly.
stand, not like broken up into
Right.
little pieces.
right, right.
Um,
So Betsy, in that sense, if the homes were well, you know, strategically placed along the side of the meadow and up this way, this enormous section here would stay unvetted. And then also all of these woods right next to the ravine on both sides of the ravine wouldn't be touched. And that's where the old growth of that
Yeah.
land is. Now, yeah, I like that you mentioned North Branch Nature Center. They're becoming partners here. They're bringing their programs here and they're learning those woods really well. I think they would be able to provide some
I think it could be
some
very
consult.
helpful. I mean, I
Yeah.
rode through a wooded area, that's not a huge road, but a regular, you know, whatever, a small road.
Yeah,
Going through a wooded area would not necessarily break it up,
right,
break up that corridor, but
yes.
you know.
It's a selling point to do it gently. and
There
carefully,
already
too.
is you know, there's this whole wooded section that it makes a corridor
Mhm,
and,
mhm.
for not just birds, but other kind of species, I think we all have there. What,
Coyotes.
coyotes, maybe, like,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah,
Bobolinks in the meadows.
So,
wow.
um,
Thank you.
well, I just wanna point out that, see, we don't need that road rule that was repealed in Act 181. We can be conservation minded without being forced to pay thousands of dollars. Just point that out, that was something that made me upset.
uh-huh.
But I'm just curious if there's been any talk, I know you said this is like kind of newer and, but any talks about the affordability piece, you know, anything offsetting, maybe, you know, like the musician housing, for example, like would that offset some more affordable housing, or would the CHIP funds really help with that, or have you not gotten that far yet?
Yeah, I have not been a part of those conversations. Affordability is, as it pertains to that project out there. I mean, the Plainfield Inn has a built-in affordability requirement, but I'm sure that will be of interest out there. You know, we had Chris Cochran here, who, depending on the teams we partner with, there might be a lot of expertise to imagine this project in some form that way around affordability. I know we'll be interested, but it'll really be helpful that we partner with a group that has that in mind with the designs that they're putting together.
Presumably, some proportion of affordability, you know, including some proportion of affordability would also be a good, would be beneficial to applying for the CHIP funds.
Yeah.
I would assume.
Yeah.
The other thing I point out is that if,
That makes sense.
you know, there's a lot of discussions about the Cross Vermont Trail and Trail to the Co-op, which would come through the campus, and so that makes it adds to the desirability
Yeah.
of
Yeah.
locating here.
And the activity that's here on a footpath away is so exciting. The idea that you'd be able to walk over for a show and a meal or a class or a gathering and it's beautiful, beautiful, and childcare.
Yeah.
Or if you want to engage with young people, you can come and hang out at the child center, whatever that is. And who knows, we'll see what happens with the design buildings. They may become, you know, a creative use there again. So it's really cool. And then, of course, there's this. Anyone look and see what this was about before I talk
The
about it?
outdoor performing arts.
Yeah, this is a dream of Mike's. What's going on here with this stuff in the way? Let me get rid of that. Sorry if I can't get rid of this, guys. I don't know why this piece is sitting in the way. There we go. Okay. From the beginning, Mike has imagined a large outdoor amphitheater somewhere on the property. Originally, he imagined that it would be over here where we were just talking about housing, and I said, oh, Mike, look at this. And he saw right away, we've all seen this, again, people who have spent time on campus, there's a natural amphitheater right in this area right here. This wall is pitched on a very gentle angle toward this.
Oh, yeah.
parking.
I forgot, I
And-
didn't get them. I got the container there, though. I'll
Oh,
have to get 'em.
she's talking about this, I thought she was agreeing with me. Definitely. See, I feel like we've even tried to put shows in here before, but this kind of wants to be an amphitheater already. I had Russ Bennett and Alex Carruthers here last week. Alex Carruthers is the founder of Higher Ground up in Burlington, and he does very large programs out in a lot of different spaces. And he saw it too. Is in his estimation, the stage would be right there at the edge of the grass rather than back in here where we were imagining it. Because he explained you need at least this much parking lot space just to have a backstage for the level of show you're talking about. So just to say that we have some experts who are helping us think through the possibility of it.
And the arts too.
Oh, of course, Jody Freed and Minty came and looked at this space with us. We did go to the lower parking lot with them, yeah. And Jody, who is the director at Catamount Arts, produces remote shows all the time on trailer. He brings an outdoor stage, and we're talking about trying to set up a show here in October just to try this space out. But for that to happen, we really have to get in here and start cleaning it up. So we'll see if we make good on that October 3rd date after all.
So you like
Excuse me.
build into the hill, like, at Epidaurus or somewhere?
Well, we wouldn't build into this. This would stay green space, just manicured.
But
So
you wouldn't make it be like tiered for seating?
I don't think we would change. This would be like a natural seating. You just kind of set a blanket out. type of
Bread
seat.
and puppet.
Bread and puppet
Okay,
ads.
right.
There's be some drainage work done in here because it gets a little wet right about there. That dark spot is.
Where's the greenhouse, Chris?
The greenhouse is right here. This is the greenhouse. Which is kind of involved in the vibe of the thing, but these buildings. We're imagining programmed by young people. I mean, they're programmed for young people already, that this would offer an opportunity for job training, something really exciting to be part of and program them into it. Yeah, I'm sorry, was there a question on?
Yeah, hi, Chris. Thanks. Since you are mentioning performing arts, it gives me an opening to ask a burning question. What's going on with the music building? As you know, there was a lot of love and work put into that. Students built the deck, and I understand that in the last decade or so, it's really fallen into disrepair. I think there's a lot of, alumni interest in that building. So what's going on with the music building? And then there's a part B in terms of the greenhouse. Has anybody reached out to Michael Horowitz, who built it for his senior study?
What was that? Which house?
The greenhouse. Michael Horowitz.
built that? I did
Michael
not know that.
Horowitz built it
Yeah.
Cool.
for his
I did not
senior
know
study.
that.
Who's
Cool.
come back?
That's a good point. Yeah, he's just down the road still. Isn't he still over in like the I don't know. Who are you looking for?
Not anyone here.
Yeah,
see, hi. Christina, I guess she's fine.
I haven't seen her for about an hour. The question, Lydia's question is here. This is the music building in this corner down in here, closest to Route 2 here. And is for people here in the room, that roof right there, that's the music building, just to the right of studies here. The music building is slowly coming back online. It's not ready for any programming, but it has gotten its first coat of paint since last we talked about it. And we have a few lessee interests in it. I don't know if it's, it's not even half baked enough for me to mention the name, but they're exciting. The partners who are interested in it. I will say the one partner I'm thinking of, actually both partners that have shown interest, potential partners that have shown interest, are in musical arts. They're both involved differently. One in sound capture and film track, sound tracking and studio recording, the other in live music programming for kids. So yeah, so the music building could become a music building again.
That's very
There's
cool.
also, it's very cool. That's where I did all of my music study. The only music study I've ever done in my life is in that building, in a very Goddard way, informal and fun and weird. But yeah, there used to be 4 or 5 rehearsal spaces downstairs. And then ISC was in that middle floor, and then the Gamelon was on the 3rd floor. And I will say that I spoke to the folks who have the Gamelon right now, who would be willing to bring it back here if we had a space for it that was reliable. You know, I understand that. They don't want to bring it all back and then move around campus and then they'll be asked to leave again. So and then, but I
My
will
recollection is that in the early 70s, the Gamelon began in the design center, but I could be.
Well, we've since, but the Sulukala was made while I
Right,
was
yeah,
here as a
okay,
student.
yeah.
Yeah, so that Gamelon that was made for Goddard and purchased and paid for by Goddard is now in Montpelier and could come home if we had a place for it. So I keep keeping my eye out for that. It's a Balinesian orchestral instrument full of gongs and xylophones. It takes like 15, 20 people to play it.
It's one of the only ones in the country.
Yeah, exactly.
Wesleyan.
Isn't there one in Oregon anyway?
Yeah, they're all over, but not
Not
many.
too many.
The performances are pretty amazing.
Yeah, beautiful.
Chris, one more thing,
Yeah.
if you turn back,
Yeah,
I just want to point out that, on the right-hand picture, the river at the lower right is, got a buffer between it and.
right.
and
In this
Route 2.
picture, yeah.
Yeah, Route 2, that edge. Okay, and then the next picture, the river does not, no, I mean, on the left, the picture on the
Oh,
left.
over here.
Photo on the left, the river has no buffer, or less buffer. Today, it has no buffer,
Mm-hmm.
and it's straight down
Yep.
from the edge. I look at it, whenever I feel like going out there and looking at it. It doesn't look good.
Mm-hmm.
It's straight down from that, like, there's some, like, cement barriers that are placed out or right next to the road. And on the other side of the cement barriers, it goes straight down.
Yeah.
And this summer, they are gonna do some work on that. Who knows what, like probably put in riprap at the bottom. And I don't know how, but are they gonna just throw it over the edge or something?
They did seal
Over
Rio.
$1 project. so-
Yeah, they did
Yeah.
seal Rio. They like, for
Yeah,
weeks, they would be banging it into the.
Yeah, so I listen to that.
Me too,
That's how I know, yeah.
I don't think that, personally, I'm no engineer. I'm concerned that the road won't in the future need to be moved over and towards the Goddard campus. Is Mike, is the
Yep.
community aware of that?
Yes.
Yeah.
That would be in
Yeah.
that expansion,
Yeah.
potentially in some of that
Right into that lower
expansion
grade
area.
line.
That came into my mind too.
That way,
Yeah, there's room here for that.
yeah, so.
Yep.
It wouldn't, that's not in the area of the currently being worked on 60,
Yeah.
then, so.
Considered, and just for your information, for everybody's.
He's always responded to that with, when they're ready to discuss it. we'll discuss
I
it.
have 2 questions, but back to the amphitheater.
Yeah.
Capacity.
Yeah. Don't tell Mike, you can hear me from his room. Every professional that I've had look at this puts it in the realm of 3,500 people, 3,500 people. But, Mike has much bigger numbers in mind. So it wouldn't work here for the bigger numbers, most likely. I mean, I can tell you, I don't see it, but 3,500 people is a really great show. That's a great show. That's a big show.
That's the whole, like our whole.
That's two, right? Yeah. Yeah, 2 times.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Alex advised us on this, the guy who does, Alex is currently revitalizing the Essex Fairground grandstand. You guys know that venue? He's gonna turn that into a 10,000 person venue, and it'll be the biggest venue we have in Vermont. So he has experience, he's Shelburne Farms shows, Shelburne Museum shows, sorry. He does Massmoka, he does shows in Maine, so he's got all of these different sites that he's practiced on. And when he looks at this, he sees that number, 3,500 to 5,000 max, which is But he said the real issue is not so much this space, it's getting people in and out of this space.
Yeah.
We all kind of imagine that's the case from the beginning. One thing we have going for us is this triangulation of Route 14, Route 214 and Route 2. Couple of egress, strategies. But, in Mike's estimation, the easiest way to deal with this problem would be to create busing and have people be able to park in Berlin and things like that.
One other, this is in the form of a pitch, but in thinking about the 60 units, the Pratt Center, the painting and sculpture buildings, and this is just something to, planting a seed, so to speak, that it would be really great, in addition to all of this stuff, if there was an agricultural component.
Give it up.
And,
I didn't pay him to say that.
it just,
Alright,
it
well-
just, there's probably places, there's a big field behind, painting and sculpture building, there used to be a solar building there, and a windmill.
Yeah,
I don't, it's just
well.
something that occurs to me.
it
Well, there were
occurs-
also-
it-
There were
it-
also
it-
gardens, and established gardens in the,
Yeah.
maybe a little before your time, Chris, maybe not, gardens in the area, in the village.
Well, I'm sorry I moved past your question about the greenhouse. There's no plan for changing the greenhouse yet.
Mhm.
It looks beautiful right now. You should take a look. The gardens in front of the greenhouse are gorgeous. I don't even know
Yeah.
who's maintaining those. I don't know if it was VCIH who left them that way, or if Kit, she loves gardening, might be actually curating those. But coming back to your suggestion, Mike Davidson actually just acquired Taylor Farm. And that is land that's abutting Goddard's campus peripheral next to the Pratt Center Library. Taylor Farm Road goes up from Route 214 right there. And the first farm you come to is Taylor Farm on both sides of the road. Is beautiful.
Yeah,
That's
I'm
nice.
quite familiar.
Is Mike Davidson the guy, the Mike that we can talk, I know.
The man who bought Goddard.
Mike owner is Mike Davidson, okay, there's a.
It's under purchase and sale. It's not a done deal, but it's 293 acres. It turned
So
the
the
whole.
whole thing, much of which is conserved. Almost
Exactly
all-
right.
I think all but 6 acres or something.
That's
like
right, that's right. So, what I'm hearing Mike talk about when we are now just starting to talk about that property has to do with ag programming. He's imagining learners and farmers and, it takes 3 years to go to organic if you wanted it to be an organic farming project, so it would take some time to develop that, but, it can also help to receive in hospitality to receive a big, visitor body. So some fields for parking if we do have these shows, it helps with that. But it is so beautiful. If you haven't seen Taylor Farm, you should go up there. And what I learned from Christy was that was once part of the Martin Farm. Is that right?
Yeah, and so that's where the sheep were held, and if you look at the side of the farm house, it has the same sheep head as the sheep heads that are over here and one of the fountains in the garden.
Something.
And it
magical
was,
about that.
as Goddard students in the 60s and
Yeah,
70s,
yeah.
it was also the Walter Smith Farm, which
Oh.
was, my wife milked cows there,
Oh,
I bought lumber from Walter.
yeah.
And I was I was on the land trust board when the community land trust board, when that property changed hands. It was very difficult and controversial, but, I think it had a good outcome, and that would be great
Yeah,
if it's,
Yeah.
stays agricultural,
Yeah.
at least in some way. There must be a contract with Fairmont,
It is.
so I don't know whether that, because they farm all the fields.
do they do, so they're planting and what do those contracts look like? Is it?
Well, the cemetery commission, we rent a huge chunk, right across from the hardware store.
Mhm.
It's probably 3 acres, maybe, I guess that's not huge. 2-3 acres and, right by the Pauper Cemetery, and we rented to them for $1
Hmm.
a month, I think, a year, maybe, I don't know, it was some like crazy low amount, I think it was like $1 a month, something like that.
We'll learn the capacity of what can happen over there, but that was a interesting, addition and to say the least.
Fairmont is not again.
I know, yeah. So that's, there goes my idea.
Bought a farm.
And we should. Hey, nothing's impossible. Let's talk.
What's the time frame on that?
On that sale?
It's like a contract.
Yeah, it's under contract. I don't know the time frame. Sorry, yeah, I don't know the
Right.
time frame. But it doesn't sound iffy. It sounds like it's gonna happen.
Out of that farm. And
And
then.
yeah, it feels good, the way that he appreciates it, the way that he envisions possibly using it as part of a grand vision.
It would make up for losing Northwood.
Yeah, exactly.
Nothing makes up for losing Northwood.
Yeah.
When I
That's
went,
the done deal either.
Yeah.
when I went to Goddard, it was 450 acres.
Wow.
Mm.
Well, now this whole
Including
thing is
baseball.
430 acres, so the property becomes 430 acres now. And yeah, that's about as much as I know, but it definitely was an exciting announcement. So I think that's it on the amphitheater for now, and I have a little bit of an update from John Broderick on the Plainfield Inn.
Great.
The Inn project continues to work through pre-development steps and looks forward to a spring 27 construction start. They met with the development review board, recently in advance of submitting local permit application, which we anticipate within 2 weeks. Permit application will include a new larger site plan with more parking spaces and a thoughtful parking strategy that considers resident safety. Updated site plan includes 17 units, of which 9 will be affordable to households earning 80% of affordable medium income or area medium income.
So that's a net new increase of 13 units for anybody that's tracking these.
Yeah.
right?
For anybody who's.
That's right, because there were 4 in there, right?
Of the units lost in.
Okay.
Could we give the housing committee credit for that?
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
She said it in here, so we get credit.
Write a letter, but yeah, that was, yes, but,
Fall
yeah.
team.
It was pre-estimate.
yeah.
Lawrence came and supported that.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Mike expressed his concerns about the ongoing safety issues at the intersection and looks forward to being part of a comprehensive solution and or any interim or temporary safety improvements that might be considered for that crazy blinking light hill. Though
Thank
young
you.
people everywhere will lose the opportunity to learn how to start on a hill with the clutch old manual transmissions. 3 households eligible for federal relocation assistance at the end.
Can you
And
explain what that?
yeah, so there's assistance for folks who are living in the property to relocate
Oh,
during the
People who are already there.
development of it, yeah. The team is working on an environmental review, selecting a construction manager and bringing on a historic preservation consultant to advise on tax credits. The CDBG DR award is 2 million. Expected total development cost is 4.5 million. With other funds being the owner's equity, hard debt, and historic preservation tax credits. And that's about as much as we have right now.
Chris, what's the plan for what was the ballroom? I've heard different things about whether it was going to be a sort of a in-community space or it was going to be converted to housing. I'm just wondering what
I
the
forget
current
why
thinking is.
it needed to be divided into 2 housing units or made for at least 1 large housing unit. It's not going to be kept, as far as I know, for any kind of programming space for the building. Yeah, that's what I understand right now. Do you know anything more about that?
It's not as you remember it. The tin ceiling and the sort of architectural beauty is gone. What does remain is the floor.
And the reverb. It's an exquisite reverb. The delay is like nothing I've ever heard. But yeah, it's yeah, music and the sound. But yeah, so the question is about this piece of the building right up in here. Actually, that's the attic.
That's the attic.
That's the attic, so it's right in here. Bam, right in there.
So does it
Um,
have a suspended floor? Is that, yeah,
So there's currently.
That's
I guess that does do
Yeah.
good things for
Yeah,
acoustics.
yeah.
The entirety of the attic has never been developed at all.
And it can be, right? That's why we're seeing
And
more
there's a
units.
17 units include the attic.
Yeah, yes, yeah,
Which have the best.
yeah, great views up there.
And who's working on that plan?
John Broderick is in charge of that on our team.
No, I mean, like the architect.
Well, I know that, I can't say for sure, but I know Ward Joyce has helped us with
Has
some
been.
drawings
Yeah.
on that, yeah. I don't know if he's going forward with that or not, but that's who we've worked with so far.
And have you guys been in contact with the state about the intersection, or it would
No,
be so nice
I
if
know.
we would have those conversations.
And it was with you that I spoke last,
Yeah,
that, right? Tim?
Yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a perfect opportunity,
yeah,
if there's gonna be construction,
yeah.
if they need to make changes.
Yeah, so that's, I think that's why John worked it into this piece, because it's definitely.
Yeah,
the plan.
I mean, and I hate to say it, but there's money in it for you guys
Right.
if
Right,
you help them out.
Right.
That's how it works.
Right. Right.
So there's some advantages to that, is my understanding when I was on the project,
Yeah.
that they were willing to do a lot for the property owners that were around it to make it
Okay.
happen. So
do you have contacts that you left off?
I've already provided the project materials.
Okay,
to this, to
V-Trans.
V-Trans,
Yeah.
and they're still kind of stuck on.
Tough budgetary times.
yeah,
They're at the bottom of the pie, too.
yeah. It's a dangerous
waited.
spot. I can't see any, I've never seen a spot that needs more love than that one.
Oh, I just want to say, I'm not that great at math, but I've been doing a little calculating, and so I'm seeing you're talking about adding about 107 new units. Some of these are houses, some of these might even be purchasable to own. That's rather extraordinary.
Where are these, so there's the
We've
60.
got
there's
60
70.
and 90, right? You 60 and 30. You said 30.
Pratt
30
Center.
small,
Oh, Pratt.
The Pratt Center.
Did I say the same number? I
You
think,
said 30 about,
I don't know the number, the count of the
Okay.
housing in Pratt, but it's not 30.
okay.
Yeah, but it won't be, let's say, it'll be between 15 and 18 units at the Pratt
Okay,
Center.
so we'll bring this down.
Unless they go wild and add a third floor to the whole thing, but that's,
And then we have 60,
yeah, that would
yeah,
change it just a
development.
little bit, so it's like 95.
75. Then you have 4 units that are to become permanent housing at the Stokes.
Good catch.
We've got 13 new ones at the
Forgot
end.
about that one.
And then, in Plainfield as a whole, we've got 8 to 10 tiny house, and we have other smaller, things happening as well. Lower Road, and then, so that's a lot.
It's good.
Great.
I mean, this is incredibly encouraging, I think. Doesn't everybody feel like this is really positive?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I toured, in with Christie a while ago, and it's also, despite that it's on Route 2, it's really nice in there.
yeah.
And it's
both
quiet
in-
in there.
Hmm?
It's quiet in there.
It really didn't seem, maybe, cause you're elevated, we were just in there for a little while, but it has beautiful views and it's a beautiful building.
The old birdhouse. Christy, do you think Ben Doyle could give us back the?
Not kidding, Ernie. 2:45 this morning, somebody went by my house going, I'm not joking, 60 to 70 miles an hour. I literally waited, I thought they were gonna hit that corner where the ravine drops into the, I thought there was gonna be an accident. It was I can't believe people would be, whether it's loud, like, it's loud regardless of the Jake break when you're going that fast.
And they were going to east,
I
west.
forgot about this.
Yeah,
Oh, so here's
Look at this
the
view.
parking
Look at
idea.
this view.
Going in like.
So
there's
this is
nothing
Route 2,
there.
right here, and we found out that there's more space to build in parking.
Since this drawing.
Yeah, since
Yeah,
this
this was
drawing,
like the original.
this is the original, this is old, this was from what, February, March, when did that, when did they say? When was this? That was April, early April, this is early April, so yeah, it's expanded since then.
You didn't call out the band
Oh,
in the last one.
where? What?
We had a couple of
Showers.
Oh, I'm sorry, Christy, you're right, I did. Look at all of this. Somebody hit me
Yeah.
in with a lot of love, a couple times this winter, last.
Oh, I
Um,
love-
Christy put a lot of beautiful hearts and candles in the windows and helped us like say that this is happening to the wider community. I'm not supposed to give away that, but it deserved the credit and it was really nice. It's really nice.
It's secret,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah,
Nice, yeah.
so
well,
here's some of the floor planning.
Will you be up to 17 parking spaces? Or to one per unit?
I don't know the answer to that. I can find the answer to that, though. That's pretty easy. Maybe I'll see. John can answer that from afar.
Well, we probably put starring on our agenda, because we have a couple items.
Yeah, I can put that, I can put that to him in.
Your job
in
for
form.
next week.
Yeah. Okay, well, that's it, guys. Thanks for your time.
Wonderful.
This is all such a nice antidote to what's going on in the world.
Yes, indeed. All right, so our next agenda item is an update on the mailing to town residents. Is that you, Betsy? Is that your postcard?
The postcard is coming. I actually haven't kept up with it. Maybe, David has, but yeah, did everybody get a chance to see what it looks like? I don't have a copy of it either. But, it is, I think, a super good looking, postcard that, it says on what, David, you probably can pull it up. I didn't bring my,
I got only on my phone, but.
like it says, like, whatever, live in Plainfield, wanna know what housing, have some questions about housing. And then on the other side, and it has some visuals. And then on the other side, it's got a list, it's got an address, your address, and then on this left side, it has a list of things. Places you can contact, and ways you can get information from about our committee, about our meetings. Go ahead, David, you can read it.
Oh, nice. That's great. I'm not gonna read that. I'm just gonna pass it.
Yeah,
And that text may not be exactly right, I'm not sure. Yeah, I mean, it may have been edited. I think that the contact information may have been edited.
Oh, yeah, the only thing that's different on it is the email got
So I did check
changed.
your website, just a quick question.
Yeah.
I went onto your website today to find the agenda. Are you guys going to create like a resource tab or something on the website? Because I think as you guys are sending out, like doing the bumper stickers and getting people familiar. And I would also recommend having them change on the website, so it's the same thing you're advertising, so it's easy to find. Or at least have that as part of your description on our website. I think
We
it's
have a document, so, we had some money from the Plainfield Forward thing, and we have a document that the folks from regional planning, who we essentially hired to help us. They prepared what they call an opportunities assessment, and we have that document. It's maybe not 100% finished, but it's at least 90%
I
finished.
actually have mine here if you want.
And I think that we definitely want to put that on the website. And I think we also want to put an expanded, probably focused list of resources on the website. And at least some of us are gonna have to kind of get ourselves familiar with some of those resources, because we're soliciting people to ask us, for help.
Yeah.
So, but we're moving in that direction.
I think, yeah, and just having resources such as the grants that are available
Yeah.
to the state have a link on there. Start creating that. If you're looking for this type of house, this is the resources. If
Right,
you're looking
some of
for-
that comes up towards the end of
Yeah.
that document.
And having that on your website, and that way, as you're sending out postcards and, trying to do the outreach, that people have someplace to go.
Yeah, there's something for them to look at when they get there.
Yeah, right, because if you're, you're going to the farmer's market, you're not gonna stop and look at what you're giving them, they're gonna go.
Oh, well, I'm good asking Hazel, I'm good at getting people to stop and look at it.
Well, look at it, yeah.
But we do have like, we have like literally the barest phones of the Google website. But we wanted to focus a little more on like the information gathering first and see what it is specifically that people want, because we don't wanna put all the resources on there if there's something that a lot of people are looking for, so Hazel and I are gonna be getting all that information when we do the door-to-door stuff soon this summer, so.
And I think we also should have some parallel stuff on the town, on the housing section on the town website. And I wonder, Chris,
Or even a link over to your.
would it be okay for us to have a blurb about
Yeah,
the
yeah.
Campus 3
Yeah.
and the inn and all that?
Yep.
That would be okay, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I think John
Or
brought.
maybe we'd come up with something and you and John and
Yeah,
Mike could review it or
Yeah.
whatever. Okay.
Sorry, I have not finalized what we're putting as mailings or like flyers, I mean, to buy from the printing place with our MTAP, the outreach MTAP money. I was gonna make a second flyer because Laura at BCRD was like, well, we want you to use all of the money, like, don't let it go to waste, which is why we're doing 2 sticker designs. And, I have until Friday, well, as long as I get the numbers to them, I can do whatever with the flyer, it can be next week. But I could, since this is the really, fun stuff that people have fun, good stuff that people wanna hear, right, almost 100 units are coming in sometime soonish, next 5 years. We could do like a blurb and put in, and I can have we can have all these and use them for whatever, put them in a mailer, put them tabling, bring it to the people's houses, here you go, you know? Things like,
Cool.
I don't know what people think about that.
yeah. I'm sure that John's estimation will be a little more modest, but maybe not. I mean,
Well,
that is about
We don't have to put
where.
that number in, but.
Well, what we were talking about today was, you know, the stuff that we've kind of honed in on a little bit more. Some of that will be, there's evidence of it starting, and then there's the prospect out in the back 100 acres that is a little bit down the line. But yeah, definitely not, you know, sooner than 5 years we'd hope for. Yeah,
Yeah,
let's
was
get
conservative.
John to look at. John would be the best, easiest one-stop shop that could really speak to all of it really well and help frame that up, that blurb, or however we mention it.
He has also John Broderick time, I've learned.
Mhm.
So is that gonna be some like? I don't know if it'd be okay for me to summarize what we talked about here, cause I took pretty good notes without putting specific numbers and just like.
Yeah.
Hey,
but-
this is happening at Plainfield Inn, these are the talks that are happening at, Goddard.
If you want to
Instead
put
of
something to me, I will
Yeah.
steward it and move it along. That's
Okay.
fine. Yeah.
That'd be great.
Okay, so the next thing on the agenda that we added is a discussion of the select board meeting on Monday evening and the reception to our work to date. So just to back up a little bit, I had volunteered to do the first report that they had requested, and we're going to be doing them quarterly going forwards, but this one was right from when we started in January. And they didn't really give me any parameters for how much detail, but I figured I had 10 minutes, so it was a 2-page report, and I sent it to them 5 days ahead, as they also asked. And Francis Rose thanked me and thanked the committee for it and said it was a very good report. So that was all very positive. And then I presented it. I didn't read it, but I summarized it. I mean, obviously all the things we've been doing since January. And there were only actually, were there 3 members or 4 there? There was Peter Youngberg,
Or
Karen,
There's one.
Francis
Okay,
Rose,
Andy Robinson.
and Andy. Okay, so Peter, I felt was positive, Francis Rose was positive. Andy, I don't think said anything, and Karen was really not very happy with what we had been doing and felt that we had not achieved enough in the time that we have spent so far working together. So I was slightly taken aback by that, but luckily a person there in the room, David, jumped to the committee's defense and explained far more of the things that we've been doing. And it all kind of devolved into a bit of an argument, which was not altogether pleasant.
I got someone annoyed.
You could watch the video. The video. But anyway, I mean, I think it's always good to take feedback as best as we can, and like, you know, I feel very happy with what we're doing and the speed with which we're moving. But if other people think we could be moving more quickly, you know, that's something to say.
So what was the argument then, just about we should be doing
Well,
more?
one of the concerns she expressed was, what have we, did she read over some of the,
Yeah, she read some of the charge.
Yeah, anyway, she read over some of the charges and said, what have you done with this, and how many new houses, units, or do we have now? Or whatever.
Since January?
And so
Okay.
basically, we
Sorry, I have no
indicated
poker
that we
face.
hadn't done anything,
And
because we didn't have a figure. So my proposal is that we have some figures, and we get them out to them, and we come up with some. I mean, I've talked about an inventory, and I think we can do it, even if it's not a professional inventory, of some things. That's my proposal. Go
You're
ahead.
not a housing creation committee, you're an advisory committee.
Yeah.
There's a little bit more context, which I'll try to, and, you know, I don't want to get too deep into it, but. First, I was there not thinking I was gonna be involved in the presentation of because I knew Liz and Will was also there, and. He made a couple of comments about what the committee was doing, and. But then I wanted to add to it a little bit to talk about the postcard mostly, and working with regional planning, and I went up to the microphone, and. You know, there was another thing going on at the meeting, which was the select board was considering a memorandum of agreement with the East Hill folks, the PCDC. And I was really there to talk about that. And, you know, Karen and I and others of us who were there have not been in agreement about a lot of how they've operated. And she was clearly prepared and wanted to cast aspersions on the committee in order to promote the project of which she is a member of the board of, even though she was acting as a select board member. So that's, I don't think we want to get too deep into that stuff. But that was the background.
Maybe you should say it appeared that way, because
Yes,
it
yeah,
appeared that
you're
way.
right.
It was.
But I was standing at the
You're there.
microphone and she was looking right at me, and I also think, you know, again, I don't want to go too far, but you know, some of us gave Arian a pretty hard time when he presented to the housing committee, and I think that played into it too.
Well, can I say though, it wasn't necessarily unwarranted. I'm not best virtual, so, but the goal was to come to us and ask for our support, right? And then we started asking questions and he blatantly said, I don't think that what you're asking is important. So it wasn't unwarranted for us to give him a hard time, I don't think. So, you know, yeah, you don't wanna get too deep in it, who did what or whatever, but I stand by the questions that we asked. I don't think we were necessarily giving him a harder time than merits our committee like to do. Because that's how this committee came out of things, is because the town was so upset with that project. So then to come to our committee and say, well, we don't need to talk about that part, that's just, I also have strong feelings about that.
Yes, go
I
on.
had two things that we might be strategic ways to respond, without necessarily going too deeply into that. So it seemed that she was discounting the unit, creation that was based on renovation or, accessory dwelling units, or putting these,
abandoned buildings back online, as if that was not in fact creating housing. When it in fact is. So I think if we could, you know, and so that's why I asked the question of how many. So if we could say how many, that would help.
I'm proposing that.
The other aspect though, that I think we might express genuine concern about is whether or not there is a member of the select board that might be antagonistic to the workings of this committee. Further, whether there is a member of the select board who is also a grant administrator who might not be supportive of the work of this committee to, so I don't know how to say this in a productive rather than a, you know, a way that furthers the hostility, but I think we could, you could well ask that, you know. that
Well,
expect-
we actually did propose a grant to be written to the select board and we were turned down. Because they didn't have any time to do it. And luckily, it's a grant that comes up again and again, so I think our plan was going to be to approach it in the next funding cycle.
We're talking about the grant from.
I honestly don't remember what it
It was the congressional, Christie knows the acronym, it was the congressional.
Yeah,
And-
and we were
and it was
specifically
very-
asking for it to expand the loan fund.
Right.
The Plainfield revolving loan fund.
Sorry.
And it was very,
It was last minute.
it was last minute, but the response was nothing horrible, but disappointing because I would have been happier if they said, oh, that's a great idea. We'll be sure to do that in the next round. And that's it. Instead,
It was a no.
it was just like, no.
I think there's more opportunities to try to seek out funding for that fund, because that fund's not going anywhere. And
Don't need it.
it doesn't have to come from any one particular source to beef that up. So I think it's definitely a resource we need to put more energy into.
What if we invite anybody from the select board who would like to talk about this, because clearly it was an issue, and to come to a meeting and talk about it?
Yeah, I think actually
I
David
think
did invite.
I did.
What if we submit
One
a
of my
formal-
responses was, why don't you, that it would be great if you wanted to come to our meetings, and of course, since she is both the grant administrator on the select board and part of she doesn't have a lot of extra time, which I believe that's true, but, that idea was rejected. I will say, Liz said this, that after the interaction, Peter did make a reasonable positive statement, and Francis Rose, a slightly lesser but also positive. I would have been a lot happier if they had, acknowledged that maybe their other select board member wasn't acting appropriately, but that's too much to ask. And I'll also say, Peter, by the end of that meeting, he was at wit's end. He was furious with me
We was furious.
and
with
probably
many.
with other people, and just because we were asking questions. And
But that's their problem.
That was a different issue, and it was.
Yeah.
But I don't, as a housing group, I think we should stay focused on what we're doing and
Absolutely.
and what, we've just heard really a very positive, at least from my standpoint, a very positive set of possibilities that would have a huge effect on housing in Plainfield, and we should, as much as I was pretty annoyed and upset last night, I don't wanna have us get too derailed by.
No, she just-
So
that
I
kind
was.
So
I'm
Betsy,
offering to-
yeah,
I'll
well,
come up
let's
with
hear
that.
your.
I'm offering to say, I'd like to come up with a sort of a brief inventory of housing. And proposed, and the new proposed housing included, listed as well.
Mhm.
And I'd love to work with anybody else who might be more, whatever, agile or, better at finding data online.
I've done most of it.
Okay, I thought you may have.
Yeah.
So I'm just proposing maybe we have a meeting, and look over all the data we do have. If anybody knows of, new housing besides this, besides what we've just heard about, proposed for the future in town, I'd like to include it.
That's a good idea.
You know, I have an apartment for rent right now, and I know other people do. A few other people do in town. I know someone who's building a house in town. So if anybody has any of that, I thought maybe Karen would know also, Karen's story, because she is keeping track of permits.
Yeah, and you can, I read the DRB minutes regularly, because eventually people have to come before them.
So if you could maybe pass on any data you have, I'd be glad to gather that, and maybe, and David has some information already gathered about what we already have.
That's where already have stuff for the village.
And we could.
That's a great idea.
Consider possible dilapidated housing. And, I think what we're talking about, maybe 5 buildings at this point, that we could, from the outside, assume might be in a dilapidated housing condition, because that was a question that was asked. And also, I think we ought to include a very brief, list of resources. It doesn't have to be all the resources that are available. But if we say we've gathered a lot more that are available, but these are just ones that are really, easy to access possibly.
Yeah, I can work on it.
Do you want to do this in the form of the next report to the select board, because that would
I
be
think we should do it
September?
before that. I think we
Okay.
should do this.
It would be
Yeah.
September the next.
Get this thread.
I'll point out, just so everybody knows, and again, I don't wanna get too negative, but Liz did send the opportunities assessment document, which has all the resources that they've helped us compile and all, and as far as I could tell, when it got mentioned, none of them had looked at it.
Well,
So let's
Francis
add that.
Rose wrote to me during the meeting and said that I hadn't sent it, and I went back and looked, and there it was attached. So I just forwarded it again.
Okay, we'll attach it again.
Yeah.
And-
Yeah.
And just say, this was sent out, but, if you hadn't seen it, here's the resource,
Right.
list.
All right, so you guys will work on this for the next meeting? 2 weeks?
Yeah, is there anybody
Yeah,
else?
I am maybe gone, I can try to do what I can do by
Okay.
July 1st, but then I'm gonna be away for a week.
Are you busy or?
I am kind of busy, yes, but then I've got 2 sets of guests coming.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah.
Okay, but he.
So our next meeting would be the 15th, is that right? No, I'm sorry. Our next meeting would be the 8th and I will be gone.
Okay, so we're talking about before July 8th? I thought.
I can do it, I can-
You're not,
But I would,
yeah, help her.
I would, oh yeah, I would help, sure.
Yeah, I can do what I can do by the 1st, and then I'm gonna be gone for a week.
I could help with the
So
writing
can we
of it.
meet on the 30th? In the office up there?
Well, Betsy and David, why don't you coordinate with Janice, because she's willing to help even if she's not
Great.
on the committee.
Okay, that's next Tuesday.
And then you can get back to us with when that's gonna be available, and we can all review it.
Okay.
Okay, and I mean, I guess I could say that now, but maybe other people have ideas about it. I mean, insofar as those units that are coming online are in some way possibly helped by this committee? I mean, in terms of resources that we provide any of those people who are doing, I mean, is there a way to actually make a connection between those things and,
We're hoping to.
yeah.
That's our goal.
At the very least, we're.
And Graham is our expert because he's been through it, renovating his own house in the village
And applying for funding
and applying for grants, yes.
Are you the one that's doing the house?
on Creamery.
The yellow house.
Yep. Yeah.
Don't you love that? Sorry, side note, but that back curve thing.
I just-
The porch?
The porch.
I just love the hard work. It's, you're spent a lot of time and you should take a lot of pride in that.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's great. Okay, I think that is everything for this week's agenda. Do we have any agenda items for the next meeting that we already, I guess we have the,
What's our process for completing the discussion about adding Janice and getting
Oh,
back to
good
the
point.
select board? So we should probably
maybe Will, do you have an opinion on that? Is
I don't
he,
think
is he gone?
He might be at his other
He's
meeting.
doing-
Oh, okay.
But we,
Or
if I
you could,
recall, we would. Think maybe we vote on sending her name to them and then somebody just has to send an email and say, this is who we're suggesting, and then they have to.
They have to
Yeah.
agree.
Should I leave the room so you discuss it?
Close, just put your head down.
I don't even know that we have, but,
I have to go to the bathroom anyway.
all right, there you go. Okay, so could somebody make a motion to approve Janice as our new committee member?
sure. I move that we approve Janice as our new committee member.
Do we, are we allowed to do that, or do we just say, we move to make the recommendation?
I guess
to the select
you're right,
board that they
Okay,
please
you do
select
it,
her?
you do it,
Okay.
I'll
All
second
right. I make a motion to recommend to the select board that Janice be added as the new member to the Plainfield Housing Advisory Committee.
Second motion.
Okay, the second, is there any discussion?
I was just gonna ask, have we made one, reach out, right, to the other, individual who was interested? Oh, but
He can't come at 5,
Yeah,
yeah.
Yeah, time.
the time, okay, thank you. Need a little reminder sometime.
Any other thoughts? All in favor, say aye.
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 So then you or Lydia will.
I think we'll have Will do it. Oh, we voted for you. No, yeah.
All I really know. I shouldn't be responsible for anything.
We'll see what
Having to do with the select,
I know, yeah.
at least for a while.
So, all right,
We'll
so
check
I'll
on
talk
the
to, well, we'll let Will know. If we want him to.
We wanna talk about response to the select board, some kind of written response, we're gonna organize a written response for the select board, including data about the housing.
Yeah, not about the meeting.
No,
No.
No,
Just data.
the inventory, and it basically is the inventory, and we're gonna include in that inventory. What we know about.
Future.
The future possibilities, and which I assume wouldn't be including the East Hill project. That
Yeah.
is certainly a possible thing that would happen.
Mm-hmm.
Right, and then. I don't know about Frank Mitchell's tiny house thing, but that's,
I think it's been approved, right,
yeah, it's not, it's a trailer park,
temporary,
so it's not, but
Seasonal?
it's housing.
seasonal housing,
No, it's year round.
okay, okay.
Oh, yeah,
It's months.
no, it's year round.
So
And he did,
so they're coming to your meeting, sorry, they're coming to your meeting next,
The tiny house people.
on the 8th. To
Who?
explain their project to you.
The tiny house people? No, it just so happened that I'm in a butter, so I went to the DRB, so I learned about it there.
Okay, so is that something that I would recommend, maybe reaching out to them? For them to
Okay.
come in,
All right, would he come,
Explain.
Frank?
probably, I mean, what I would,
I mean, I
I
just think
I
that
reckon,
that's to get an understanding of projects.
Yeah.
And then, of course, then it works the same way with East
it-
Hill, if they wanna come and present their project, then you can express
yeah,
that to the select
it'd
board.
be fine,
But-
he might do it.
Okay,
He's
so
a character.
now,
We like her.
Maybe there's some way that we can help them.
Right,
Well, I
that's
mean,
what
it
I'm
gives
saying.
him
I think
publicity.
that's-
He's done everything, I mean, he's already has all his, engineering and it's been approved and he's doing all the work himself and he has his septic plans. So.
Okay.
The end.
Will woke up.
I'm also wondering if this is a lot for the next meeting already, but, putting just a conversation about affordability.
Mhm.
And I got a resource from Will and we talked a little bit about, why can't I think of where nobody raises the rent? No, rent control. Oh my God, I'm sorry, it's 7 o'clock almost. So I just think that would be an interesting conversation to start as like a continuing conversation.
Can you talk to that one or?
Sure, I'll start
Okay.
that conversation. I love it.
And Graham, were you gonna give us another list of resources? Just, we're gonna try to include it in our report to the, whatever, the select board, but.
No, above and beyond what was in was it VRDC?
Opportunities.
The opportunities assessment?
Yeah.
No, that covered everything that I'm aware of.
Okay,
Yeah.
is there any way for you to do the, like, brief report, like the 5 things that were most beneficial?
From that
From
report?
your, and from your experience,
From what I've been doing?
yeah, that report and
Yeah, I can put that
the
together.
resources that you've used that were
Yeah.
the most beneficial.
Yeah, they were covered in that document, but I'm happy to highlight them.
I just look at that document myself, I'm not a.
It's 34 pages.
Yeah, exactly, so I'm thinking, well,
Yeah.
where should I start?
Yeah.
So maybe you've had
Yep.
a few, 5 or whatever it is,
Sure.
resources that most beneficial.
Yeah.
So you don't actually need to recreate the list
No.
because all of it is on the Department of Housing and Community Development's website, right? And because the resources are not stagnant, additional ones come online, additional ones go offline. You know, you're constantly gonna be chasing, updating those things versus saying, here.
Yeah, I don't think we need to be posting about them on our site,
Right,
No.
right.
but could potentially be
Linking.
linking
Right.
to programs. Yeah, I don't think we need to create our own content about it.
Maybe Betsy, what we should do, I think Tammy was suggesting this too, is we'll take the resource part of that report and separate it out from the
Assessment.
the assessment part or, whatever it's called. And, that would be, then it would just be 3 or 4 pages. I don't remember what
Yeah.
it was, but, rather than, 34 pages or whatever. And and we could put the resources on the website and the list, the inventory on separately, so that they're not an overwhelming amount of
Okay, I'm just
information.
thinking like if we had Graham's 5 best option, but best resources.
Things that.
Graham's top tips.
Yeah.
Yeah, the person who says, I have this space back behind my house, it could be an apartment, over whatever, over the garage. What do you think, where should I get started? Just the user friendly. Cause if you're thinking, I should get started, and then you go to the house, you go to the website and you see 34 pages, you might not know where to go.
There is a state. I forget which department it is, but it came up on my Facebook feed that just says, thinking of doing an ADU, start here, and it was super helpful. I'm not
That's the
thinking about.
802 homes and.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah,
Okay, so we
They
can.
visited.
right.
That number.
Yeah.
I
I
think
think it is in the document.
my sense is that several of us have to become fluent in those resources, so that when we're asked,
We can.
hopefully we will be asked, and that maybe the postcard will encourage or somebody will respond to it by asking us, but we reached out and asked people to ask us. So I think some of us have to become kind of fluent
Yes.
and, you know, we know Graham, particularly for
Yeah,
some.
there was nothing in
programs.
that document that I had not seen before. Like, none of those programs are new, and they're all knowable, so it's definitely, I'm happy to do a study session with anybody that wants to learn what they are and what they can potentially do.
Well, maybe you could give us, all of us, a study.
A briefing?
Briefing,
Okay,
yeah,
yeah,
because,
I can prep a briefing
okay,
for,
because I'm thinking I'm starting at the beginning, I don't have any idea.
Yeah.
You know, so if I can be of help to somebody, I need to get a little bit more.
I think maybe what might, every project is so different. Certainly. I can give you the narrative of how I got to what I've done and what programs I've tried to explore
Mhm.
with my thing in particular. And a lot of them have been dead ends.
So have that as a class in perspective, you guys presenting it.
That's what I was gonna say, is that
Like,
that's the case.
at those meetings, like it's.
Not, I would do it in a, you know, so you can have a bigger audience, but I wouldn't do it as your meeting, I would do it as a class.
Uh-huh.
And then invite people to that and start gathering emails, so as people have the resources, so when people are coming to these meetings, you're asking for their emails, because then you can start creating content and mailing them out quarterly. But then things get cheaper if you can start doing email blast instead of printing.
Yeah.
And they're interested parties, like they're interested in housing, so then you can do your tutorials. You know, we learned this, or get speakers in, because I think that's what this group is for. As much as Karen was trying to say, what housing did you build this week?
Yeah.
I don't think that's the intent of this committee. I think you're supposed to, I mean, the way I see this, and again, I'm not the select board, I didn't make up that list of charter, but, I mean, trying to get involved in like what Chris was pointing at, you know, being involved with, people that are trying to build or bring things to community. Your job is to make people aware.
Yeah.
And make them aware of all the things around them as resources. Obviously coming up with strategies and things like that, but I would definitely say, you know, sounds like you're, you know, have gone through this process, and that might be a great start to say, you know, let's present ourselves as having a class. And then maybe bring in, you know, Huntington Homes and be a speaker for you guys. But I think that is kind of where you're at, or different type of buildings, or even architects and engineers. Because you're not buying property. That's what the town didn't want to do. You're not into, you're trying to get people to think outside the box and be resourceful, and trying to get, encourage people to do this. So to me,
That's a great
you're
idea.
trying to be a resource. So
Right.
I would definitely, you know, you had mentioned the email, I say,
I'm
you know,
glad stuck.
exactly, okay. You
So-
know, this is your meeting, I'm just saying, that's what.
Hazel and I talk about that a lot, and that's our plan. So we have different phases, I think we might have talked about it last time, kind of like we talked about the broader, housing committee state, like we're gathering information, right? So the community outreach working group is getting all this information, we're getting our stuff ready to go out and like widely talk to more people, get more email addresses. And we really, that's something that we're both passionate about, I'm specifically passionate about, is educating people on, exactly how to do all these processes. And something that I think about, and I wanted to say before you spoke, Tammy, was that, you know, I think about people getting financially ready to even renovate. They might have a space, they might not even know how to become financially ready, never mind apply for the CHIP program. So I, for example, thought I would never get approved for a mortgage a few years ago because I had student loans and I didn't make that much money and et cetera. And then I learned that there's all these programs out there and I actually got approved for a mortgage. I never thought my whole. So I think there's a lot of people who feel stuck, and that's what Hazel and I are talking about. Even if they
So,
wanna help
My
people.
lease rise. invite North,
Yeah.
we do presentations, when I work for the credit union, I
Yeah.
go places and do
It's like
presentations on
first time home
mortgages.
buyer
Yes.
We have first time
workshops.
home buyer seminar,
That is
but
good.
those are the things that I
That's-
foresee
Mhm.
this group doing, trying to engage and trying to get people resources going, getting people to think outside the box. I don't think, so I think you're taking the right approach and I hope you don't, yes. You know, the select board meeting was tough. I think they went in a negative direction, but you guys have done a lot. And I think just trying to be the resource and trying to gather that information, you definitely want to do links, not redoing content because content changes, programs change all the time. So you're better off to do the link. As Christy said, those websites are created, they update their content all the time. So it's important to do links, not copying content.
Yeah,
But that's, I mean, again, utilizing emails, you could do quarterly, once you start gathering emails, you can start doing quarterly MailChimp, email blasts. And when Chris brings his housing on, great advertising piece to bring people into Plainfield. But those are the things I see this committee, really focusing on, is that outreach. And so I think, great. But if you're gonna give that teaching class, I would do it bigger.
Yeah.
I guess that's my piece.
and we're gonna
Go
need
big.
another room.
We'll do bigger
Okay.
room.
Well,
Okay.
and
We're gonna need that theater.
We'll do the
Yeah,
theater.
500.
Yeah.
well,
Yeah. 30 for an amphitheater.
From Berlin.
and something that I worked at Twinfield, and I did a lot of community partnerships, and something that I did learn is trying to set up events before you know if people are interested is just a big fat flop. So like I tried to do a car seat check. I was like, oh, we wouldn't want a car, nobody, and it was for there for like 2 hours, and I was like, well, that was dumb. So we talk about this, I just wanna say, cause anybody ever listens to this video or comes back to the minutes, but we do talk about that a lot. And so that's why we are hoping that we can get all these emails and just find, and door to door, right? They're not necessarily coming to us, so we're gonna go to them. This.
Vermont League of Cities and Towns also offers advocacy, technical assistance, FAQs on the SHIP program.
Okay.
And, that also, they're super accessible, they have webinars, but they'll also, have one-on-one conversations, so.
Yeah.
And maybe it's just going through and starting a calendar and saying, okay, this is our goal to maybe do that quarterly or do something on a bigger basis, but also look at the seasons, because when we were doing housing, you're trying to get before people start construction projects, right?
Yeah,
You want to
right.
get them in the winter, not do it spring.
Yeah.
So it's understanding the whole building season and Vermont.
Good idea. So maybe we can work on that.
Yes, and actually my neighbor, speaking of Huntington Homes, tried to get them to build a house on Middle Road. And there's nothing before 2028 with
Yeah,
them.
they're behind. Yeah, they're way up.
So they're behind. Okay, I think we should probably announce the date for the next meeting, which is Wednesday, July 8th. At an exciting location to be disclosed.
July 8th. I think it can be back in the,
Yeah,
did
the
we like the
clock tower.
clock house? Yeah, that was.
Like the
It
clock
has
tower.
a podium, can I use the podium?
Yeah,
there?
absolutely.
Cause my life hurts.
Somebody's gotta use the podium.
I saw that last time and I was like, sweet.
You really should add Chris's other pitch deck to a future agenda, because it's really
Oh, yeah.
amazing to think about
Oh, yeah.
how the interplay between economic development and housing, they're so interconnected and kind of dependent on one another, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
That's more good news.
Yeah.
Who is that again?
Me.
Chris.
I had the
He had two.
two PowerPoints. We did just the housing. I was
Yeah.
also gonna do a programming update. So when we
Yeah.
have time.
We can do that next
Sure.
time, possibly.
I'm seeing
Okay.
that
Yeah.
along the same lines, I'm seeing that North Branch Nature Center is here on the 8th. Which means they'll be in the clock house and the media room. But
Who's this one?
there's also the Haybarn Theater. We don't have to be huge to enjoy the Haybarn Theater.
That would be fun. Do
Let's
they
do it.
have
Yeah,
good, like, good
I'll
things?
bring in a big one of these on wheels. It's
Yeah.
easy.
Could we be in this room?
We could be in this room. Yeah, we could be in this room again, so.
Right, that's fine.
yeah.
I
Good
will-
breeze
I will
tonight.
miss that meeting. I mean, I'm gonna be away.
I believe I will also miss it.
The 8th of July.
So you won't be making a report?
I will not be making my report at that meeting.
Oh, no, lost.
We won't be there. No, well,
Okay, so, is there a motion to adjourn?
sure, I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor, say aye. Meeting is adjourned at 7:01.
Is it okay to close this then?
I think so, yeah.